The Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred, Lord Tennyson. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death, rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade! Charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade! Was there a man dismayed? Not though the soldier knew someone had blundered. Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them, volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell. Boldly they rode, and well, into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell, rode the 600. Flashed all their sabres bare, flashed as they turned in air, sabring the gunners there, charging an army while all the world wondered. Plunged in the battery smoke, right through the line they broke. Cossack and Russian reeled from the sabre stroke, shattered and sundered. Then they rode back again, but not the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon behind them, volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell, while horse and hero fell. They that had fought so well came back through the jaws of hell, back from the jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell. All that was left of them, left of 600. When can their glory fade? Oh, the wild charge they made! All the world wondered. Honour the charge they made. Honour the Light Brigade. Noble 600. So Lord Tennyson, he was later Poet Laureate, which is to say the official poet of the United Kingdom, an office he held for the rest of his life. It's now for 10 years only. Indeed, his son was honoured by being made Governor-General of Australia, partly because of his father's distinguished status. So Alfred Lord Tennyson, he wrote this about an incident in the Crimean War, which is 1853 to 56, when the United Kingdom, the Ottoman Empire, France and Piedmont fought against the Russian Empire to prevent them breaking the Treaty of Unkiar-Skelessi when they proposed to build naval bases on the shores of the Black Sea in what is now Ukraine. You might say, here we are, almost 200 years on, well, more like 170, not that much has changed. Anyway, there was an ambiguous order that was given during the Battle of Balaclava, if memory serves, when a dispatch rider rode up and he gave the order orally to the officer, and the officer was in the presence of his men, so it was well within their hearing to charge whatever Russian position at the end of the valley. But which valley? There were two valleys it could apply to. Now, obviously, it was a fluid situation. It was very important to move fast, because would the Russians get reinforcements? Would they retreat? Or was it to take pressure off somewhere else? But the officer was unclear which valley he was supposed to attack down. So he could have asked for clarification. Of course, this is long before radios and Guglielmo Marconi. So he could have asked the dispatch rider, ride back, get that order from the senior officer. Do we go this way, that way? But he didn't want to waste time. The other point is he didn't wish to lose face in the presence of his men. The cavalry troopers might think that their officer lacked for valor. So gallantry was vital. He had to inspire his men by showing his disdain for danger and his willingness, almost eagerness, to lay down his life for Queen and country. So he took a 50-50 on it, which turned out to be cataclysmic. So the 600 rode, and the casualties are not as bad as you might think. Was 112 killed out of 600. So, that's not even 20% killed. Obviously, there were others who were wounded. A lot of the horses were killed and wounded. Even the horses that weren't killed, they usually put them down, because if a horse breaks its leg, it's going to take so long to to recover. It's just not worth feeding that horse. So that was it. They in fact attacked a very heavily defended Russian position. So surprising that the losses were not even greater on the British side. Remember, in those days, the whole of Ireland formed part and parcel of the United Kingdom. It was the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. It was not solely Northern Ireland that was within the UK. And so therefore there were plenty of soldiers from Southern Ireland there. My great great grandfather fought in this war apparently in the cavalry. I don't know if he was in the charge of the Light Brigade or even in this particular battle, but something I must trace. So far as I know, the only member of my family ever to have served in the British Armed Forces. That was it. The victory ended. The war ended in victory for the Allied side. Note France and the United Kingdom on the same side, which was a rarity until the 20th century. It was really simply because Austria-Hungary threatened to come in against Russia. The Russians felt they were owed something for having helped quell the Hungarian uprising in 1848. But this one, people like it for the pace, the imagery. There's repetition for effect, like half a league, half a league, half a league onward. And the scansion is fantastic. Moreover, perhaps it feels like you're in the saddle being jolted forward by that. Sense the rhythm, half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death. And to a population with a biblical education, they would have known this expression, the valley of death. Yea, for though I wander in the valley of death, I fear none evil, and so forth from the book of Psalms. So the Light Brigade were light cavalry, and they carried sabres, not lances or carbines, which is to say firearms. So it wasn't known as Valley of the Death till after this one. So someone had blundered. Somebody had made a mistake. The more senior officer hadn't made it obvious which valley he was talking about. They didn't have very good maps. They didn't have toponyms for any of these places. They sorted that out. And it was just sort of general incompetence before the Cardwell reforms of the army. And commissions were purchased until the 1870s. So the British Army was surprisingly competent, considering. You think it'd be even worse, the commissions for certain regiments, cavalry regiments are more expensive. The infantry regiments tend to be more upper class officers, and as I say, financially exclusive. It was less exclusive in terms of competence. And some of the guards regiments, as in the horse guards and the foot guards, who seldom left London, they were very expensive because they're very fashionable for aristocrats to carry on their social life and politicking when never going far from the royal court. What else about this one? And then this one really encapsulates a soldier's mindset. There's not to make reply. There's not to reason why. There's but to do and die. And that's where the expression a do or die mission comes from. Okay, to argue, no, that's stupid, or we're not going to do, we can't possibly. No, soldier, you obey orders. Don't think about it too much. Okay, you can't see the whole picture. Supposedly the commander can, and he knows the grand strategy, which obviously he can't disclose to you. We need you to attack here because it's diversionary, or because we happen to know that the enemy are weak or retreating or whatever it is. And the good repetition, like cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them, volleyed and thundered. Okay, so we got some onomatopoeia there. So they're stormed out with shot and shell. So shell as in the ones that actually explode on impact, which are relatively new, because cannonballs were really that, balls, metal balls, stone balls, until about this time, which bounced but did not explode, and flashed all their sabres bare. Sabres as those swords. And they really were using those until the late 19th century. All the world wondered. The world's wondering, are they going to succeed, or how can they possibly do this? Is this suicidally brave? Cossacks, as in those people from the River Don Valley, the descendants of runaway serfs. Remember, Russia still had serfdom until 1861. It comes from the Turkish word Kazakh, as in free, like Kazakhstan. The Russian state allowed them to be free in return for military service. Okay, shattered and sundered, as in they actually smashed the Russian line. But they were unsupported, they had no infantry between them. They were still a target for soldiers from quite some distance away, so they retreated. Okay, so to remember them, their names ever illumined in perpetual splendor. Thank you for watching my channel. Make sure you subscribe on Patreon, donate on PayPal, georgecallahan79@gmail.com. Toodaloo.